Greetings, humanity, and welcome once more to Channel Other Doc. I'm Jim, I use he, him pronouns, and this is Alas for the Angry Void, a reskinning of Alas for the Awful Sea by Storybrewers Roleplaying, to tell a gothic science fiction story set among the stars. Let's go ahead and go around and say hi to folks, and see who they are and who they're playing, and we will start with Hollow. Hello!
Hello, I'm Hollow. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm playing Jackson Mead, who also uses he, him pronouns. I am the Merchant Confidant.
Excellent, excellent. And now we will head over to Cleric. Hello.
Hello, I am Cleric of Court. I use she, her pronouns. I am playing Vargas, who is the old sea dog and the creature, and he uses he, him pronouns.
All right. And now we will head over to Mem. Hello.
Hello, I'm Mem, and I will be playing Irina Maynard. We both use she, her pronouns, and she is the scholar believer.
All right. And now we will head over to Robin. Hello.
Hello, I'm Robin. I use any pronouns, and today I'm playing Rust Worsley, the surgeon and the outcast who uses he, him pronouns.
Excellent, excellent. And finally over to Katy. Hello.
Hey, I'm Katy. I'll be playing Levitt Teague, who is the mercenary lover, and we both use they, she pronouns.
All right. Excellent, excellent. As a reminder, you may see us use safety tools from time to time. Like we do with the other games on this channel, we're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. If we hit something that's crossing a line for one of us, any of us can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else. Or hold up a card, make an X symbol, however we like, and we'll go back and do something else. If something happens that we're okay having in the game, but we don't want a graphic description of it, we can type an N in the Zoom chat, and we'll fade to black on it or put it behind a veil. So it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. Finally, if we're exploring a topic or an area of roleplay that's particularly intense for us, but we want to keep going anyway, we can put an O in the chat to let us know we're okay and that we're all good to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is put an O with a question mark after it when we're moving into a difficult topic, or if we say or we do something and then think maybe that might have been a little too much, then everyone else can respond to that again with an X, an N, or an O to let us know if we're still doing okay. We're also using the pause. If any of us needs to take some time, we can ask for a pause in the game while we discuss things, or just take a break for as long as anyone needs. As a reminder, just a few content warnings. This game may contain gothic themes like gloom, despair, intense emotions, macabre scenes, romance, and curses, along with references to violence, alien creatures, colonialism, crime, death, exploitation, family issues, separation from family, homesickness, loneliness, starvation, sudden decompression, the vacuum of space, and vengeance. Also, please remember we have an open door policy, which means that any of us and any of you can feel free to step away from this at any time if we need to. It's just a game, and mental health is always more important. I'm going to put in here also in the chat those content warnings. You can just hit exclamation point Alas CW. That'll bring that up if you're following us here on Twitch. Let's see. I think that's all the things. I for one am terribly disoriented, as this is that day that we lose an hour. But we'll see if we can.
I'm gonna fight Brent Franklin, I swear.
I know, right? Yes. Well, I think we're all good for candle wax. Everyone got their candles saved up. I'm sure we can appreciate. Boy, vey.
That's why I said, Ernest, what are you doing tonight? I said, I'm doing a banishing ritual for Ben Franklin. Maybe I won't steal my hour.
Excellent. Excellent. We should do, yes, there needs to be, there needs to be something like that. The Franklin exorcism. Well, he just had to speak up about it, I tell you. Well. Still, humanity. Humanity. The wheel of human plotting is turning, and the echoes across the void move with it, ever so subtly, shifting the song of reality in the direction of a dirge, one that could easily grow louder. On the planet Metaxas, an old trading hub, the assassin Levitt Teague has found a new client, an old acquaintance of her father's by the name of Wolf Grevel. The assignment is to take out the head of an upcoming exploratory mission to the mysterious comet Attis, otherwise known as the Spectral Comet. But Levitt's meeting with Grevel has not gone unnoticed. Dr. Rust Worsley, who once upon a time was romantically involved with Levitt, has seen her being escorted by Grevel's associates, who've been identified as members of the Ascendancy, a cultish group purporting to follow old noble ideals that has connections to a number of governments and powerful corporations, and who are said to sometimes duel each other. Rust has been following Levitt and her escort in an effort to learn more. Meanwhile, back in the outer ring of the colony, while the Darist religious scholar Irina Maynard sits in a bookstore and continues to read about religious figures significant to this sector, a fight has broken out and been quelled by the private security forces of the Crown Mining Company, who control a good portion of the planet. Tensions between the port merchants and members of the Singularity Focus. No, that's something else. And members of the Singularly Focused. Who wrote this? Oh, I did. That's the problem. Tensions between the port merchants and members of the Singularly Focused Ashen movement of Irina's religion have risen over time, and today those tensions have boiled over. The company has had to step in. And as Fergus, the pilot of the CS Chimera, has recently discovered, Crown Mining has begun to place more restrictions on trade in the colony's outer ring as a reaction to the presence of the Ashen Darists, who believe the planet is sacred and are pushing back against the company's exploitation of its resources and, seemingly, anyone's use of the planet for personal gain. In the midst of this conflict, Fergus has managed to take advantage of today's temporary chaos to procure a sales permit for Jackson Mead, purveyor of canned goods. Jackson, in the meantime, has escaped from the melee and found himself in the company of Grace Leandro, associate director of the Quantum Line Initiative, a movement dedicated to restoring commerce along the old Quantum Line, a shipping lane that passed through this sector long ago in the days of the Singularity Drive. There's the word singularity where I put it in there. She is taking Jackson to her office to talk about a possible opportunity, and I think we should find out what that's about. So Jackson, we are going to this lady, Grace Leandro, is taking you into the inner ring, of this city, this colony. It's very much taller buildings. A lot of the buildings are metallic, but or made of advanced substances that have yet to be known on Earth. Some of them are almost in the ones in the middle that rise up are almost like castle-like in their grandiosity. As you see it's like big tower, these towers that mark the property of Crown Mining. But she's not going to take you too terribly far into the inner ring, because that's her office isn't her office isn't deep into it. They have money, but they don't have that much money. Take you into a building. It's essentially it's an office building. And you'll see there are. It's one of those where there's a receptionist, and there are a number of different companies that work out of this building. Are you following along, or is there anything that you're doing that I might need to know?
Jackson is staying quiet and nodding respectfully and enjoying the architecture and making this person seem like they're doing a very important thing, which they are, but it doesn't seem like they are the most high up person in the chain of command as far as things are concerned. So Jackson feels as though he might need to climb a little higher, and this is just one rung on the ladder to new roads and making Irina feel like that, commerce is good for the universe, and maybe the Darths are wrong.
Excellent. Good. So yes. So you're gonna get through receptions pretty easily. This Grace shows a badge of sorts. It's an employee ID at the front desk, and gets you a guest badge.
Is it a sticky badge or a clip-on badge?
I think this is one of those where it's. I think this is going. Let's see. Oh, well, we're way out. So this is probably clip-on.
Okay.
But I was thinking about it. I was like, the wondrous technology is probably here, but at the same time, it's an advanced clip-on, so it does it itself. You don't have to keep doing the thing. It'll just sort of, you just put it to show it the cloth, and it'll be like.
It's like a little spider. I hate that.
And she'll take you to the elevator, and she's like, oh yes, we had the they it's not like the adhesive ones we have back home. Whereabouts do you hail from, if I may ask?
Mostly everywhere these days. I've been traveling so long. What is home? Where is home? Commerce is home. That's really what's true.
I like the way you think. And she'll nod, and she'll come to a point. The elevator doors will open, and you have this. It's this hallway that she will take you down, that has entrances to a few different offices with sort of like the glass paneled wall front, so you can see into the offices. So she will take you down the hall, and she will sort of present her badge at the door, which will click open, and I'll just sort of click open and move to the side, fairly quietly, and she will bring you into this office. This office is it's about a medium-sized office. You don't have. It's not. I want to say it's not like a thing full of. Would they have? Not here. They would not have the cubicles here, but they would probably have somewhere there are cubicles. I'm just going to say, you get that? Somewhere there may be cubicles, but not here. Here you have. It's a little more open. You've got this basically short hallway that opens into. There are a few private rooms, but as you come through, it's basically there's an area that opens out, and you can see to the far end where the windows are that show you, that have a view out onto the city.
Mm-hmm.
And in this, you have. Let's see. This open area, you have employees that are going back and forth. They're all Usually they're wearing most of them are wearing like they're not wearing uniforms per se, but they're dressed up a little bit. It's sort of the I guess the modern equivalent of that sort of business look where it's like you don't have to necessarily wear a coat, but it's like a step above business. It's like somewhere in between. We've landed somewhere in between business casual and formal. Is what I'm saying. Okay. And so I think that the sort of the collarless shirts are probably popular in this era. They basically folks looking at different readouts, communicating with people. Some have like these little headsets on that they're communicating with, but they're not in cubicles necessarily. They're just sort of going back and forth from things, looking at different things. And she says, "Well, this is the nerve center, and we've got. I think we will shortly have. We should very soon be setting up some things in the conference room. I think we're supposed to be having." And she looks over. She calls over to someone. Is the presentation ready? And it's like, well, yeah, it's just about. We are going to be having a presentation shortly, if you like.
Oh,
we've got a few guests here, and we're going to be able to talk more about kind of what we're hoping to move toward. Before I let you wander for a bit, you'll have a few minutes to wander a bit if you like. But is there anything you wanted to ask me before I start taking care of a few things?
I just wanted to know what brought you to all of this.
Oh. And she says, I was approached a few years ago by a friend who got me thinking a little bit differently about transit. I had been working in transit for quite a while in relations, but then we started talking about ways that we can practices that have been abandoned that we can actually still learn from. And that was, I think, it was actually one of the key things. There's a sort of this. It took me a while initially it took me a while to come around, but there's a definite chance here, I've seen, to actually do something that I think would be better for everybody.
All right.
It's but you might get to meet my friend if he's coming. He's supposed to be here, but I don't think he's in just yet. I'm not sure what's going on with him. It's one of our angel investors. But I think some of his people are already in the conference room.
I guess I try to take a look around and see who this fat cat is.
Yeah. So.
Hopefully, there's no actual fat cat in here.
No. As far you don't see any animals here currently, but I think you should probably read a situation, and so I'm going to ask you to roll plus brain.
Okay.
Okay, so 7 to 9. You get 2 questions. You're going to get 2 questions off the list.
Okay. What is here? What here is not what it seems. And
Okay. Mm-hmm.
What should I be on? So you know what? Actually, who or what, and also who or what is my biggest threat? After
Okay.
nearly getting into a brawl, those things are important to me.
Yes. No, that's excellent. No, that's very good. Okay. Let's see. What here is not what it seems. So, looking around, you see people doing what you know. You're no stranger to these environments necessarily. You've probably seen things like this before. There have been like, the whole thing where the various companies that do anything involving sales will have this. This place is now one thing that's kind of that you do note is they are trying to play like they are helping humanity, and this was actually me saying this is probably going to be water is wet type deal, but we'll see. There does seem to be that these people are better funded than you would expect someone trying to present as like an activist group would be. There's definitely an agenda of some kind here. Now obviously if it's a thing, so there's a thing where it's like they are. You note that there are some of the monitors that they're looking at. There are models of things as far as different things that look like engine parts. There are models of things that look like sort of galactic maps. And so what they are doing is related to space travel. Absolutely. And from the glimpses of the star maps that you're seeing, they are focusing along what was the old quantum line. So that much, seems, this is true. They are doing something involving the quantum line, but it looks like they're trying to, because it looks like they have, there is a certain amount of things that look like they are scientific documents folks are looking at, studies, things of that nature. So it's one of those things where like there is definitely, you think from the way people are interacting, this you're able to pick up on, from the way people are interacting with each other and with what they're doing, you think that a good portion of them probably do believe in the cause, but they do not know what is actually going on. There is you believe that your initial thought about there's someone higher up on the ladder. That's absolutely correct, and this is being directed at something, or this is either being directed at something that the people don't know entirely it's being directed at, or this is a cover for something.
Yeah.
That most of the people working here don't know that it's cover for. In addition to what it is, which it looks like this is, this kind of looks like a tech starter. Basically, it looks like it's a tech startup, basically, in many ways. Kind of the vibe you're getting here. Who or what is my biggest threat? Well, as you are looking around, you will see that that Grace is taken aside for a few moments, and the people that are talking to her, they are wearing these long coats. And as one of them turns, first of all, it's a little odd they're wearing the coats inside. They haven't hung the coats up, but you turn and you see, and you think you figured out why that is. Because I think this group is probably known to you. You can see they're wearing the red and white, under these coats, they're wearing the red and white outfits of a group called the Ascendancy. Now, it has been a while. I don't know to what degree you would have necessarily interacted with the Ascendancy, but you have probably run into them from time to time because they try to dig into everything. It's kind of, when there have been a number of points where, as we even established in the world building, where the nobles, a lot of the nobles, the aristocrats, the rich folk, started. Some of them got who didn't hop over to the right business when business interests came in, kind of took a bath, and on economically speaking, and so a lot of there are a number of disenfranchised nobles and what have you. But they've been around for some time because they have these ideals of nobility. They generally work out. I mean, crown mining was a big one that sort of just kind of rolled everyone over within the last several decades. But it's this group that they have this. They have this sensibility of sorts where it's like they're almost kind of like a cult a little bit because of the degree to which they believe themselves to be, it is their job to shepherd society, and also that, but there's this certain thing of like, you were only here if you deserve to be here, and they prove that occasionally by dueling each other.
Okay.
With swords.
Okay. I hate that. Hate that.
And so it's, in many ways, it's, interacting with them can be a double-edged sword in and of itself because they know people. So sometimes, having one of them on your side can be very helpful until it isn't. They're kind of extreme in certain ways, but again, what they do is not entirely ineffective. But that's often the case when people are throwing, what their stowed away inheritance, what they, to try to work towards their various ends. So that's what you see as probably would be your greatest threat, depending again on whatever your own personal history with them may or may not be. There were a number of these folks on Epitome. There were quite a few at one time.
Awesome.
Much less now, but yeah, there used to be a lot of them. So is there anything else you'd like to do before they start calling people into the conference room?
No. Just going to contemplate all of that as I sweat just a little bit, and I don't want to stare too long at any one person, lest I pull myself into some kind of dueling situation that I don't want to be bothered with.
Certainly. No, absolutely. Absolutely. 1 second. So they're going to they're gonna ultimately this will start, and it's not a huge number of people necessarily, but they are talking a little bit about it's you and a few other folks, and these couple of folks you saw in the long coats, and Grace. And Grace is sort of leading the meeting. She just will just welcome everyone. We wanted to talk a little bit more about the initiative for those of you who might not to be familiar, and show you where we are right now with things. And we are lucky enough to have an expert with us to talk a little bit about the science of what's going on, Adira Basara. And this individual stands up, who looks a little bit nervous, looks very much out of place here, actually, I should say. They're about about 5'7" or so, and they are dressed. It's one of those things where it's like someone who does not dress up often is told they need to dress up.
Okay.
And so they're wearing kind of it's not terribly inexpensive clothing that is, looks decent enough. It's sort of a tan jacket and trousers type deal. They have there's sort of tan with black hair that comes to their shoulders, and so they'll come forward and they'll be, hi, hey, thanks so much. Yes, no, I just wanted to talk to you about what we're looking at doing, just things that are what I think would work out here, as for modifications to the old Singularity designs, and sort of talk you through kind of what we're looking at making happen if we can get the funding together, and if we can get everything we need together for this. This, what you gather is also, as this person is introduced, is that they're a geophysicist and geologist. What they'll start talking about is, you'll see these images will come up, that will those sort of little holographic images that'll show what it is that they're talking about, and a good portion of it, it's they're trying not to throw in too much scientific jargon, but sometimes they get excited and they start saying things that go over everybody's heads. And so they kind of have to sort of check themselves. And so, like, they're talking about the engine, and they talk about, so the interesting part, the part that I'm showing here on screen, is that where they'll say, so the thing with the thing with Argolite is that it can enter into different states. Now, we have showing that about every 300 years it has been known to change states. Not always, but most likely. And so it might be getting ready very soon to transition a lot of the Argolite, especially around here, into wild to stable, stable to flat, and then ultimately flat will go back to volatile, quite possibly. Volatile to stable, stable to flat. But in its flat state, actually, it will work out. I think it might shift things a little bit for the way that they're kind of using it with the sort of drives that they have now. But if we take the old Singularity engines we take the colliders, we adjust them somewhat. We're not going to be generating black holes with them in this way. We're not going to be generating black holes with them at all, actually. But what we can use these for, we use the Argolite to power just this process. The creation process. We can control it enough to create jump points. No matter how fast a vehicle or slow a vehicle is traveling, we can build gates that will let people jump from point to point. Now, there are certain points in space that are better for this, as we create these smaller wormholes, temporary wormholes that send you across. And it's for the same reason that the Singularity Drive had the quantum line in the first place. We can build them along the quantum line. That part of space is always that line. These sectors have always been better for that, and so this is a thing that I think is going to revolutionize quite a lot if we can get it working.
Okay.
And it won't need nearly as much Argolite as the current ships require. And there's a certain amount of once the presentation is coming to a close, there's a certain amount of the polite applause and everything. And you will see that before I do anything else, is there anything you would like to do as things are starting to break up a little bit?
I would actually just like to listen, honestly. Just like listen to the hum of conversation, try to focus my ear, something, catching tidbits of conversation, trying to reduce myself. Like, I'm just here, I'm just a little guy, just don't mind me. Okay.
So you're able to catch a little bit, but I will tell you that at this point, after this is been happening, you're able to catch a little bit. It's mostly people are like, okay, well they're trying to decide whether they're going to invest. Some of them, and some of them are trying to decide, okay, do I want to be a rep for these people, that kind of thing, because that's some other folks that are here for that. And Grace will bring this individual, Adira, over and introduce them. And this is Jackson Mead, a very effective person in sales. And Adira's like, oh, pleased to meet you.
Oh, charmed.
And Adira is we're very lucky to have. We were just saying that there's likely that when that the shift that might be coming up would coincide with the comet coming through the sector. Yes, that's right. There's a whole mission that's going there in a few days. I tried to get in, but they didn't have room. And she said, and Grace says, no, that's right. Not everyone can get it, can get in on those things necessarily, but you might want to count your blessings, given how the company treats its folks. And Adira's like, yeah, I know. And Grace will say, if you can excuse us for a second, he says. Grace says to Adira, and we'll try to pull you aside just a little bit. And Grace says, I am wondering if I can possibly make if we could possibly make an arrangement.
I suppose arrangements could be made depending on what they are.
Well, as you can see, we need more support. for this. We're looking for more investors.
Mhm.
Well, we do have a certain amount, but there's certain parts, especially certain elements in this sector, that we kind of need to better sway to our side, I think. Especially sort of, outside of the reach of the company. So we'd be prepared to help you recover your stock. And we could get you... There's a particular... If you'd be willing to help us, we could help you recover your stock, and we could get you some exclusive rights to... or exclusive permit, which, that there's one place in this sector that's very difficult to sell things on. They have to go through a very specific permit system, and that is... And that is that station. The Mela station. Because remember, they have to get everything personally approved by the abbot there. Now,
yes,
we happen to get a deal where we have our where if we list folks there who under one particular vendor that we have there, we can get you in under that. You can bypass dealing with the Abbey and just go up there and start selling if you like.
I would certainly appreciate that. Since they are making a deal with me, I would like to make use of... where'd it go? I would like to make use of the perks of business.
Let's see. The perks of business. Strike a deal involving the trade of barter, roll plus beauty. Yes, this would be it. So yeah, this is definitely the time to do this. Their initial offer is to get you the rights if you will advocate for them, essentially, and try to help them find investors. That's what they're initially trying to get you with. But yeah, feel free to do that. Excellent.
Awesome.
So you get to choose two things there?
I would like to impress them and have them throw in something extra to sweeten the deal.
Okay.
Well, I do run in certain circles, and I do believe that I could bend an ear or two or three, if you're willing, if you're willing to compensate me fairly.
I think we could arrange to pull a little bit more out of the budget.
Excellent.
You're very good at this. I knew I was as I was looking over the information they'd sent me. I knew this was going to be something special. And she will offer you she will throw in money. Basically. Let's see. Which in Alas, money is kept generally vague, but they're offering to they're offering some So let's see. They give estimated costs in pennies, but they offer. What is your character's income level?
Currently his income level started off as pretty sure it started off as average or whatever the average was. Because I started off with the case of hams, so
Yes.
I had an average income.
Okay. Yeah. So let me see here. Need to pull things up. How does this game work again? Let's see. Yeah. So this isn't going to set you at. This isn't necessarily going to set you at completely at. Instantly at well off, but this is going to basically make it. This is going to make it easier to get there. So you can effectively. If you need to purchase things, you can purchase them at it's one level higher. It'll be easier to get expensive things instead of just medium things. Is basically what I'll say. And then she'll ask. So she'll ask you, "What do you think? Is that will that work for you?" She'll say,
"That will work for me."
Showing you a total. And excellent. I'll just we just get a few things together, and we'll get the ball rolling. And you note that she's actually the little sort of personal bracelet thing she's wearing starts blinking with a little tone, and she's like, "Oh, yeah, excuse me, I've got to take this." And she's going to head off to another room to take a call of some kind. Is there anything you would like to do? Because I'm very shortly going to be leaving this here for a bit, but is there anything you would like to do?
No. I think I just wanted to check if I gained any secrets that I could spend later.
Let's see. Confidant. Let's see. Do. Yes. Well, yeah. You did get a secret about. About the Quantum Line Initiative, and that's that you put two and two together. It's being funded by the Ascendancy.
Okay. All right. Well, you feel free to move on to someone else if you like.
Okay. Alrighty.
I'm going to grab a drink.
Certainly. So I'm going to head now. We take you now to another place on the inner ring, where we are finishing up a conversation. I need to know, however, before we finish this conversation, I need to know where the doctor lurking outside is and what he's doing. So Rust, how far did you follow Levitt and their escort?
As far as I was able.
So what you were able to tell, you were able to spot them going. So you're in a building near a chemical factory. On the inner ring, on the outermost portion of the inner ring, series of hallways, and an office, a kind of a small office. You see Levitt and these two. You saw Levitt and these two people wearing long coats go into the office, and what you saw is that one of them stays in the outer office that you can see through glass to see them there, and the other took Levitt into a back office.
Okay. Can I read a situation?
Let's see. Let me move over to a thing real quick. Probably. I just want to check something real quick. Yes.
Okay. Roll plus points. Okay. I got an 8.
All right. Let me see here. So, you get 2 of the questions. I'll go ahead and I'll repost those over here.
I have them right in front of me.
Ah,
I would like to know what I should be on the lookout for.
so quite personally, you know that these folks are, yeah, I mean, they're, you know, these, from their bearing and from what you've heard about them, these folks probably do not mess around. As far as what to be on the lookout for, it's a question of, you don't know how much you're going to find in the way of holes in their security to be able to see what's going on. It's like there are 2 of them. One of them is standing guard out front. The other, if you're able to sort of circle around a couple of hallways and see that there's also a back entrance, and the other one is now standing out back, guarding the back entrance to this office.
Okay. There's a back entrance and a front entrance. I'm gonna ask, what here is not what it seems?
It's a very good question, because I'm going to ask you something so that I can better answer this question. What does this seem to be?
Well, it seems to be that this suspicious group is hiring Levitt to do some dirty work.
Okay.
There's a meeting going on inside.
Yes, yeah. Yeah. I think that, I mean, that is what's happening. So this, but I'm trying to think about presenting things and how to present certain things. Let's see, it's clandestine meeting, and I'm trying to decide. I'm telling you right now, there may be something I can tell you here. I'm just trying to figure. If I can't figure out a way that you would know it, I may ask you to ask another question in a moment.
Okay.
But it's interesting because some of it requires actually having an idea of what's going on inside the room. So. I'm going to give you a choice here.
Yes.
Which is actually no. Wait, never mind. I thought of something. Sorry, it came back. It's too late now. Yeah, they're yeah, things that are not as they seem. I figured out a thing. So you're able to, as you're watching one of these guards, or these folks acting as guards, and they sort of shift, and you can see kind of their red and white outfit underneath the coat. You catch a glimpse of something, of a weapon that is being carried, and you realize you think you've seen a weapon like this before, possibly, or technology like this before. You recognize it because you have, I'm going to say because of maybe a patient that you've treated in the past.
Okay.
Yeah, so when and this, you're sort of putting this together with what the vendor told you. There's they're carrying blades. They're carrying swords of a kind. It's a particular type of it's a type of sword that kind of this, remember everyone, this is the future. It telescopes out a little bit, and is when it does use energy to sort of shift its existence when it comes out. It's in some ways, yes, like a toy lightsaber a little bit, but it telescopes out. I had one of those, where it telescopes out and does that. In this case, if this is the type of weapon you think it is, it shifts the molecules of the blade.
Okay.
So that it becomes a bit more. It's not exactly monofilament, but close enough.
So it makes it very, very dangerous, basically.
Incredibly. It easily can. Some of them have multiple settings where they are less or more dangerous. But it's like sort of the blade telescopes out and it becomes and it shifts to be a thing where it can either be a practice blade, or it can be a thing that will skewer everything and possibly take out walls. It is it's a little bit thicker than a fencing foil. And so putting that together, that these guards both have these weapons, and you heard that they sometimes duel each other. And this group, this ascendancy group, so the thing largely is this is basically a situation where this is a very specific group. You don't see this kind of thing very often. But this is like a very specific, very focused type of group that apparently wants Levitt to do something for them. And it's not like Levitt doesn't have connections, because Levitt absolutely does, and has, often rich clientele. But this is very specific.
Yes. Well, and you have to think, if they have this level of dangerous weapon on their person at all times, why do they need Levitt?
That is an excellent question. Are you going to continue hanging out there, or is there? Are you going to try to conceal yourself somewhere, or and wait, or what are you doing?
I'm going to try to be very innocuous and not be noticed. I don't know if I'm going to hide somewhere, but I'm waiting for Levitt to come out.
Okay, yeah. So now there are people around. There are not a lot of people around, but you see people every now and then, walking the hallways, just going from place to place. So it's not impossible that another person would be here. So you're okay there. But yeah, so you're going to try to try to conceal your gloriosity behind a pillar or some such thing.
Yes.
And we're going to shift inside as we get to the details of the job. So, Levitt, Wolf Grevel is talking to you about some of the specifics of the job. Your target is Lucas Markov, who is heading this mission out to Comet Attis, and the company is keeping very quiet about the setup for this. The only intel that they have. Part of the reason they want you for this is because they know you're good at finding people. But the intel that they have. We know where he's going to be. We know where he's going to be in about 5 days, and that's the comet. So, Grevel will let you know. He'll tell you that. So, we know at the very least he's going to be there when their mission arrives. We will also have a team on site that will have their own mission.
And
hopefully, once you have, that mission isn't anything that's going to involve you. But just know that once you take care of that, your job basically there, if you end up there on the comet with them, is just know that if you happen to see another party, that's us. Well, it's our people. And your job will be to distract the mission by taking out its head.
Does this Lucas fellow, what sort of how should I take care of this? Does it need to be quiet? Does he need to disappear? How should I go about this?
He has been rather determined, from my understanding. They have a certain degree of mission protocol that will cause them to abort. I would recommend that it will reach a point where his if they do happen, if he goes missing, for example, then they're going to fan out and search the comet. We don't want that. We want to make sure they want to leave. So if it can look like an accident, that would probably be the easiest way. Equipment failure, things of that nature.
Right.
I will leave the specifics up to your discretion, of course.
All right, I can handle that.
I'm sure you can. He says, smiling genuinely.
I will need, I'm sure you know that in my line of work, I will need some sort of, promise of a payment up front.
Of course. Yeah, he'd have been prepared for this. Let's see. Here we are at the issue that we initially did not wish to go to, but as to figuring out, do people have accounts?
I figure she probably has like some sort of like, I don't know what it'd be considered in like there's like offshore type of thing, you know, like
you've probably got something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
she gives him or whoever the details for it.
Yeah, that's easy enough. It is basically he'll use his strange futuristic device that can calculate numbers to basically to send the information.
No mentats?
No, yeah, that's true. No. Yes, computers that can think are legal for some strange reason.
As soon as she hears like the alert, she pulls like her own little device out of her pocket and does a little check, make sure everything's kosher, and gives him a nod and is like, "Oh, looks good to me."
Excellent.
Somewhere far away, I imagine that Jackson's like, "Oh, okay."
Somewhere Fergus has got a nosebleed because now Levitt has money again.
Yeah. That's going to be an issue.
Good. She can finally pay her tab.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm going to assume... I'm just going to make the blanket statement. I'm going to assume everyone has devices that they can use to communicate. And things like that.
Yeah. I would assume so, yeah.
Jackson just kind of like, sighs, like, I don't even know why I help her manage her money because she spends it like a sieve. Like,
exactly.
There's nothing to manage.
Can't manage money if there's no money.
I know, right?
Is there anything else that you need from me, Mr. Gravel?
I wish we had more time, quite honestly. But because I do wonder how some other of our mutual acquaintances that might have been doing, but
I couldn't tell you. I haven't seen nor heard from them in years.
He'll nod. I understand it can be difficult. I will say, however, that purely as an aside, if you should need someone to talk to about everything who knows some of the players involved of things in the past, my com will be open to you.
Mr. Gravel, with all due respect, I keep that part of my life and my life now vastly different from each other. I prefer not even to think about it. The Levitt Teague you knew then doesn't even exist anymore, and I prefer to keep it that way. I much prefer the one who stands in front of you now.
All right. Well then, pleasure doing business with you.
She'll shake his hand. Can I see my way out of here? Do your two acquaintances have to escort me?
That was just to get you. I can send someone with you if you like, but if you prefer then feel free.
I'd much prefer. I have errands to run.
Of course.
She'll give sort of one of those like half-ass salutes and bows, and then she'll leave.
You note. I need to ask an important question. Are you leaving by the back or the front?
Probably. Did she come in the front?
You came in the front.
She'll leave the way she came in.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, you will note. Will you note this? Doesn't matter. Okay. You're heading out back toward the front, and now let's see. How does this work again? What do you wish to? Where do you wish to go? You are on the. You're on the inner ring. At this point.
What comment do I need to go to? Addis?
Yes.
Addis.
Yeah, the spectral comet, it's also called.
I'm sure that's fine.
It'll probably be okay.
And it's coming in 5 days?
Yes. I'm going to say you can get around this sector pretty quickly on most ships. Most places you can get to in this sector probably in about half a day at the longest. It's maybe half a day between here and the station, for example. And the Mela station.
I think that I am going to in the inner circle, the inner ring, or is there like any sort of like boutiques or anything?
Oh yes. If you start turning and heading inward, then that will certainly be a thing.
She's gonna do so. The goal is she is going to go back to the ship because she wants to start making a plan to like head somehow to go to like to bypass Addis somehow. But for right now, she has money burning a hole in her pocket.
Excellent. So you want to do a bit of shopping?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. So when Levitt emerges from the office, they will turn inward toward the hub of the city. And begin and head to where you can buy stuff. And so Rust will note this. Do you wish to continue following? Levitt is alone at this point.
Yes, I wish to continue following until we're far enough away that I feel comfortable that she's not being followed by anyone else.
So, this is an excellent question. I feel as though there probably would be. I feel as though there might be. Let me look at a thing. Let me look at a thing, real quick. Let me look at a thing. Does
I'm going to tell you right now, Levitt has her hands in her pockets, whistling, chilling like a villain, is not looking if anyone's following her. Does not
okay, that was basically one of the questions. So you're gonna head toward the basically the shopping district, and we will get into all manner of thing.
So while Rust might be looking, Levitt doesn't care.
Yeah, so it looks like Levitt is no longer going to be followed. as you're heading there. I think briefly, I'd like to go to break in a moment. But before we do that, I will check in briefly with Fergus. As you were getting ready to head back to the bookstore, but I know that you had a roll you wanted to make first.
Yep.
Because you wanted to see about sensing the beyond. What is the setup for this? What do we see happening here?
So Fergus is going to step out of open view. They'll find a little nook or anything, because when Fergus looks into the beyond, their true self appears a little bit. His eyes get large, round, solid black, and the mouth, well closed, seems to bulge a little bit as if there are more teeth in there. The jaw starts to kind of, this all becomes a little rounder. This is something that he found out through through trial and error. So yeah, he's going to look through for some place where he can step aside and, out of main view, and kind of, it's looking inward while looking out.
Mm-hmm.
As he starts to kind of sing a melody, which is the language of his people, that helps him focus into that.
Yeah. Okay. So you have standed off. You have begun doing this. You're off sort of on the side in sort of a nook. And I'd like you to go ahead and roll plus beyond.
Not bad.
All right.
Fragments and Mysteries.
Right, here we are. 9. Excellent. So you receive Fragments and Mysteries.
Oh, I'm sorry. That should actually be a 10 because I have a +1 to this roll from earlier.
Oh, yes?
Let me find it in my notes because I get +1 to act on answers.
Ah, right. That's the thing we keep missing from read a situation. You take +1 to any move required to do so. Yeah. That is a 10.
And it's what to look out for. The big thing that's happening that's not just about humanity.
Yes.
And things not being what it seems. So that's actually a 10.
Ah, excellent. So, okay.
If you want to give me an answer after we break, we can do that.
Well, we're going to start. I'm going to start with something very simple.
Okay.
I'm going to start with something very simple.
All right.
Sort of sense, and you can feel there's like this rhythm, this sound, this thump, sort of like this thump, this dirge that is starting up. And you notice the rhythm is different. You notice that this place, this planet, maybe the sector, it's teetering on the edge of something. But then you can hear something from somewhere, cosmically speaking, nearby. And you hear it saying, in some, and it's not really in words so much, but you get a very distinct sense of something from somewhere nearby saying, No. No, it's not time yet. We can't. We need to know who to send. To know who to send. Ah. Yes. Well, sooner or later. It's not looking good if this shift continues in this way. Hold on, I think someone can hear me. Is there someone there? Who is that? I think actually we're going to go ahead and break on that.
This is what you get for being nosy.
We will be
it's
back.
It's not like I'm spooking on my or snooping on my ex-lover, so I figure it's all.
Hey, I'm being perfectly respectful.
Oh, you got called out. Oh.
We will be back shortly, folks. See you soon. Welcome to the break. I am here once again with James Introcaso, writer and game designer. Greetings, sir. Greetings.
Greetings. Good to see you, Jim. Good to see you.
Good to see you. And you are the creator of Burn Bright, which is a system that is out primarily for folks using Roll20. And I was wondering if you could talk to us about it a bit. Tell us a little bit about Burn Bright, if you would.
Sure, yeah. So Burn Bright, which Roll20 published, right? So they are the publisher and owner, and that's why it's available exclusively on their platform, is a science fantasy RPG that they asked me, along with several other people, Cat Cool, Darcy Ross, and Jim McClure, to create for them. It uses a lot of the bells and whistles of Roll20, but you can actually play it at a table. You still need Roll20 to access the rules, but you could do everything else analog if you wanted to. It takes place in the Olaxis galaxy, which very well may be the last galaxy in existence, because there is this phenomenon that surrounds the galaxy on all sides called the burn. It's like this orange aurora kind of northern lightsy looking thing that slowly closes in on all sides, and as it touches and overtakes planets, space stations, people, everything it touches disappears, never seen or heard from again. And so that creates a lot of problems, resource shortages, refugee crises, lots of people and places suddenly disappearing, greedy corporations profiting, all of that kind of stuff. And the players take on the role of heroes, right? A lot of times in these post-apocalyptic stories, we see people say like, well, what will this do to us? Will this turn us into monsters? And Burn Bright says, you are people who say, no, the end of all things is not a reason to be a bad person. We are still going to do good because it is the right thing to do. And we're going to help people, and, we're going to explore and have fun and maybe make some money along the way, even though it's all coming crashing down. And that's not to say that like everybody's happy, lucky unicorn, people get mad, people get upset. There's emotional moments for sure. But so that's the idea. There are no humans in Burn Bright. Everyone is an alien species that is super powered because of their anatomy and physiology. So there are all sorts of species. We don't have time to get into all 8 of them, but I will shout out 2 of my favorites. One is the Peacecraft. You play a larger individual, like you use like a large sized token, a 2x2 token in Roll20, and you are a mech that can pilot itself, but also your friends can like hop in and combine with you, and you can get all of these features whenever you're being piloted by a friend and working together with them. And there is also the Rornan, which is when you play a Rornan, you play a swarm of telepathic bugs that share one hive mind, right? And so that's really fun because you're moving around and you're telepathic. You might have some telekinesis, that kind of thing, and you can flatten yourself to move through doorways or build yourself into a rope that your companions could climb up. All kinds of things like that. So that's the basic overview. Mechanically, it uses a system that we created from the ground up. And that has been really fun and rewarding to see people play that as well, because the system itself is something new to RPGs that we really, really have enjoyed.
Let's talk a little bit about the system. What are some of the basics for it?
Sure, yeah. So Roll20, you have a skill-based character, like you would in like Fate, right? You don't have big attributes like D&D. You have 18 different skills, 6 mental, 6 physical, and 6 social, and each one has a different die size associated with it. D4, D6, D8, D10, D12. The fewer sides your die has, the worse you are with that skill. So if you have a D12, you're really great with a skill. If you have a D4, you're not so good with it. And then every task that you go to complete with a skill, right? A task where failure would make things more interesting. You roll your skill die a number of times equal to the task's complexity. So complexity 2 task is pretty simple. A complexity 4 task is hard. And they go all the way up to complexity 7, right? You roll your dice, and if you have doubles, right? If you have match numbers, then you fail. Otherwise, you succeed, because Burn Bright assumes you're a competent hero. Like we see in many science fantasy stories like Star Wars, Guardians of the Galaxy, right? These people who can take on whole armies at once, even though there's only a couple of them. So it's that idea. And whenever you fail in Burn Bright, you don't just fail, you make things worse. And so you come up with story consequences with the DM. There's also a big table of 100 consequences you can roll on if you or your your GM doesn't have an idea about what you want to do. You can roll on that and check out the consequences for failure and make something fun happen. It's a great game because people love to fail in it too, which was one of our design goals. Like, make failure something exciting that people are like, "Whoa, what's gonna happen?" Right? And so we did that with it, and that's fun. So yeah, those are the very basics of the core rules.
I feel like it's one of the best things that could possibly have happened to RPG mechanics within the last 20 years or so, to actually have a push to make failure interesting.
Yes, right? Because you're still playing a game when you fail, and so you still want it to be exciting, and even, dare I say, fun, if you can get there, right? It's when you're playing a board game and you fail, that's different because it's competitive, right? But for this, so many RPGs don't have a competitive bent. Some do. So it's good to be able to say, like, how can we embrace this so it's not just like, well, sorry, nothing happens, and that's boring. And it also increases the tension. There's good reasons in Burn Bright for having failure have a consequence and a cost associated with it, because we want people to feel like they're gambling when they make skill rolls in combat, and so that's a big part of it. Nice.
Well, if you can let us know a little bit, if we can delve into a little bit of the history here, what kind of led you to Burn Bright? How did you sort it out?
That's a great question. So when I was working with Roll20 at the time, I had created an adventure that's available for free. It's like a D&D starter adventure. It teaches you how to use D&D and how to use Roll20. They commissioned me to make it. It's called the Master's Vault. You can download it for free from Roll20 and check it out. And so at the time when we were working on it, I said to them, hey, this is cool, you all creating your own content, right? You have this platform where you sell Wizards of the Coast products and Paizo products and Chaosium and all this other stuff. Have you ever thought about doing it yourself? Kind of like Netflix, right? Used to have other people's stuff. Now they have other people's stuff and their own stuff. And they said, funny you bring that up. We do want to do that. And we want to create an original role-playing game we're thinking sci-fi. Are you interested in putting together a team to work on it? And I was like, holy, yes, absolutely. And so I got together with the team, and we said, like, okay, we formed our team. What do we like? What don't we like? And we started to talk about exploration and how, like, in science fantasy, and we did fantasy because none of us are scientists. Well, actually, that's not true. Darcy Ross is a scientist.
That is true. That is
yes,
true.
but none of us are astrophysicists. And so we wanted to be able to do things without having to science them. So we were like, hey, if we magic them, it's easier to explain for us. So that was the idea behind science fantasy. And then similarly, the idea for the burn came from sci fantasy and sci-fi are so mind-blowing in their expansiveness, and you can go to all these different planets, and you can we wanted to be able to keep the universe contained, so we didn't over design it, and that's where the idea from the burn came from our laziness, basically. But it's really the driving force of the whole setting now, and so I'm really, really glad we came up with it. And I should mention that Bright is spelled Bryte, because it's that's the term for an age in the game, right? So there's like the Age of War is called the War Bright, and the Age of Exploration is called the Exploration Bright, and so you're in the Burn Bright because it's the age of the burn.
Awesome. Well, I got to squeeze in one more question, setting related, or even just creative process related, because I'm just too curious here. What brought you to decide no humans for this setting?
That's a great question. So that is something that Kat and Darcy and Jim really pushed for at the beginning. And the reason behind that, which I really love and agree with, is that if you have humans, right, every other species or ancestry in your setting kind of becomes a monolith in that they're compared to humans, right? So like we often think of elves as like, they're like humans, but they live in the woods and they're graceful, and they don't have as many they don't have as much diversity within them as humans do. And they wanted that diversity of personalities and cultures and things like that in every species. So that's what we did. In Burn Bright, every species has a home world and like a home culture that we talk about in depth, but we also say that, like, but you don't have to, you don't have to have this culture. You could have grown up here or here or here, and we give you the tools to build your own as well.
Thank you so much for doing that, by the way, because that is something that is sorely needed in RPGs, I think, and just in fiction in general, really, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. And I got to give credit to the three other members of the team, because that was really, they were the push for that. But I am a true believer in that, and like I'm so glad we did it that way. And it's also the way the game works out, right? Is that like so much of what your character can do is dependent on their what we would think of as humans' alien anatomy, that I'm not sure what I would really do for humans. You know what I mean? It would be like, hey, you're a human, so you're kind of good at everything, and that always feels bland in an RPG as well.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, so folks looking for this, they should go on Roll20 and do a search for Burn Bright? Is that what we're looking at?
So it's available in the Roll20 marketplace. You can also go to burnbright.com. Roll20 built a special page for it where you can learn more there.
Excellent. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for talking to us. I really appreciate it. If anyone wants to find you online, where should they go?
So you can follow me on Twitter at James Introcaso and over at worldbuilderblog.com.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to throw things back to myself now, and we will catch you later.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Greetings, humanity. We have returned. And, something is happening. Is it a conversation? We're not sure. Something is happening across the void. And I'm going to see... We're going to find out its degree of importance. Fergus, potentially, has just been asked a question. Who is that? And you note that there's something there. Here? Hard to say. You don't know if they can perceive you or not.
Fergus sings. It's a tuneless melody, or a wordless melody, that echoes the rhythm of the dirge without being specific, and adds a counter harmony to it that is an identifier of where he comes from. So that if whoever this entity is, if they know of where he came from, of his people, of his planet, this would be this would be an identifier. If they don't, it's just a song in the void.
Gotcha.
But the dirge is to indicate that this is he's not someone that you want to just approach willy-nilly.
Gotcha.
You know.
Yeah.
He's not defenseless.
What are you doing out here?
The response...
I don't understand what you're doing out here. You can start to hear... It's hard to know whether you can actually hear the thing or whether it's... Like, its voice shifts from thing to thing.
The response in song is not if you're concerned. It is nothing.
You may not want to be here in a few days. Is that of your concern?
You may not want me here in a few days.
It matters not to me. That side is not of my concern. But I'm going to have to let someone out.
I defend what is mine.
Good luck, I suppose.
I have seen into the void.
Ah, yes. What is it telling you? Is it telling you to get everyone off that planet? That would be a good start, I suppose. make things a little easier if you want to save things in the interim. Again, not that I really care that much, but...
Why?
You know those people there are a problem, right?
Not all.
We don't have time to count grains of sand.
There's always time to save what is worth saving.
No, ultimately, perhaps. It'll be easier on them all out there in the long run, I suppose. So in that way, we're trying to conserve what population there is out there.
And who are you to judge? And
judge?
To send whatever punishment you seem to feel is necessary.
Oh, I don't punish. I just keep the things in.
Then why release it?
The things, I keep us in. Oh, we have to release one of them. It's time.
Who are you? You have my song.
Many names. Many names. This. And it'll send out there's a series of pulses that come out. And, the closest... The closest way I could represent this concept would be... The closest way I could represent... the closest way I could represent this concept would be it's like something like a curator or a jailer or a warden is this being's identity.
Can I read another's thoughts?
I have to ask, it is my responsibility.
Yes.
Before we do this, I have to ask this question. Are
Okay.
you sure you want to
Yes.
read this individual's thoughts?
Yes, I want to know what's going on.
Okay. Roll plus brain, please.
Okay. I mean, it's not gonna...
That's
7?
7 to 9.
Yeah.
That's... you had to ask one of these questions at any time during the course of the interaction.
Yep.
And
So he gets
Yeah,
that.
if
So he gets the series of pulses,
mhm.
and I'm assuming that he's able to identify them in some way from that.
Yeah, this is I don't know how up you are on lore of the galaxy, but this is some kind of a cosmic jailer or warden of some kind.
Okay. How can I get this character to delay letting this, whatever it is going to release? How can I get them to delay that release?
Okay. I need to figure out how this evolves in the conversation.
Okay.
They're going to answer this question for you.
Okay.
But I need to know.
He gets that, and he sings back that he understands who they are. And it's in Fergus's mind, this has now become a negotiation.
Mm-hmm.
Of give essentially in meta, give me time to get those that are worthy out of here before you release whatever is coming.
Well, delay is difficult on something of this nature, as there are, I strongly suspect, humans about to force our hand. Humans, that's what they're called, right? Yes, humans, that's what you call them.
You've held it back this long.
Do you have any idea how long this long is?
Yes.
Any idea? You have 3 chances. 3. One. You have 3 chances, as there are 3 points on the triangle. I'll keep it simple. I'll keep it 2-dimensional. We'll call it a triangle. 3 chances. 1. Is to stop or waylay the humans who are going to force our hand in the place of emptiness. Two, further back. Oh, yes, that's right. My apologies, time doesn't work that way for you. I'm giving them to you in reverse order, I suppose. 2. In the other place. Another place here. Not your planet elsewhere. They are... There will be... There are schemes, I think, across, surrounding one of our children. Your brethren may be able to help you with that. Out in the other place that is the place of veneration. The third or the first, depending how you view it. You can come to me directly. And give me a reason. A means perhaps would be better. Give me the means to close the gate. Oh, or just come to me and offer me something. or come to me and convince me. It is hard to see the path. We can see what it is, maybe. I am not far from you.
Watch for me, and they will shut down their openness to the void.
And, yeah. Well, as you will catch one more tiny thing, one more tiny hint. As doing so, as you're doing so, you will just hear, you need just look up.
Just look. Okay. Yikes. All right. Yeah. It takes Fergus longer than usual, so several minutes to suppress the bits of their true form before they can step back out into the main entryway, a main walkway, and they look for Trinket and sink rather urgently.
Trinket is hanging out. Is hanging out next to a kind of a. There's this data terminal that Trinket is sitting next to, and there are a few like wires exposed and stuff near the bottom. You're not sure how that happened, but Trinket is just sort of looking up. Is looking up into the sky. Right now.
Fergus follows the gaze.
So, an interesting thing about this colony is that it is daytime. But you can see, you can still see this planet has 4 moons, and you can see a couple of them during the day, and Trinket is looking up directly at one of the moons.
Which moon? I mean, sure. Is that going to be something that he needs to know?
You would know the answer.
Okay.
You've been here before. You know what the moons are.
Yeah.
I just need to find the name that I wrote down.
Let me pull it up because I've got that open.
Did I? Oh, yeah, there it is. Azoth.
Azoth. Okay. So Fergus will sing to Trinket, "We have much to do and not much time." And kind of indicates for Trinket to follow. And they're heading for Percy's bookseller.
Yeah. Yeah, like this planet, the moons are also some of the moons are inhabited. It just sort of depends. There's stuff. And you start heading toward the bookstore.
Still have to get Jackson's permit so he can get his case at hand.
Yeah, that's true. You do have to get it. Yeah, you have to get. I mean, you have what you need.
Yeah.
But you gotta get Jackson his permit. So you're gonna head to the bookstore to have a chat with Percival. But I think we're gonna.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna shift over. After this. Let's see. I would like to find out. I will let Jackson know that after, there's like bits of mingling and chatting and what have you, and you do find out that the geophysicist Adira is going to be actually also going to be heading to the to Melestation shortly, soon. And so we'll just sort of wanted to let you know that if you need me to help explain anything to folks while we're both there at some point, I'll be happy to just let me know.
Sure, of course.
They'll give you their contact information. Obviously, their thing. You can ping them. What would you like to do at this point?
Well, I should go meet up with Fergus, honestly, because, well, it's been a while, and he might be looking for me, and I don't want the surly sailor trying to track me down, running through the ship. Because you might drag the cat behind.
This is true. This is very true. Okay, so you're going to make your exit from the. You will note that you hear the chimes. You hear these loud chimes. Everyone's going to hear at some point, sooner or later, these chimes that ring across the city to indicate that tea time is beginning. And so some of the people are leaving anyway, because they are either because they do not observe it or because they want to get to wherever they are to observe the planet's ritual tea time. And they are also they have tea there for people who want to have tea there. But that is a thing that happens. Do you stay for tea or do you head back?
Either
way.
I stay for tea. It would be rude not to.
Okay.
He sighs. And some people can have a whole row about who is and is not an assassin and who has things going on.
Some people, we don't know who those people are.
Whoever those people are.
But, and this is fine. You're just going to get to have tea with a number of semi-dodgy individuals. And people who probably don't know what's going on. All right. Good. And actually, strangely enough, yes, okay, that has just given me a thought, which I will come back to in a little bit. But first, let's look into that. Let's look into this hypothetical thing that might be happening. So, I would like to know, how does shopping work, do we think, here?
I imagine if this is the inner ring thing, that it's different than outside. Like, it's probably more, like, I imagine this is your nicer boutiques, more like, instead of open air flea market type thing, this is like your mall area, like your indoor shops and stuff, right?
Yeah. Ooh. I'm sorry, I'm getting a weird technical thing real quick. And I just want to make sure that I know what I'm looking at here. Could someone say hello?
Hello?
Hello.
Okay. I think it's just Katy. You might be a little out of sync right now. Possibly.
Uh-oh. Hello.
Okay, that's better. Maybe it was just my brain. I don't know. My brain is always out of sync.
No, sometimes it'll do it. I think it's just like this camera. I'm just not getting a break lately.
Oh.
Yeah,
well,
it's fine.
You, however, can do some shopping therapy. What sort of things are you looking to purchase?
I think she's not really purchasing a lot. She's mostly window shopping at this point. But I think she has ended up at like a perfumer.
Mm-hmm.
So she is looking like she's like sniffing everything.
Excellent. So yeah, the perfumery is one of those where they will they have their ninja sales representatives who will leap out and strike you with a particular scent if you're not careful. But you have good reflexes, so you're able to dodge those scents that you do not wish to be upon you. But they are they're very insistent.
Yeah, I think that she's given she's dodged a couple of them, but the next one that comes over, she gives like that glare that's like, if you don't stop, I'm going to break everything in here and I will not pay for it.
Just start sneezing on them. It works every time.
Oh, God. Okay, let us know if you would like something.
Yeah, she's just at this point. Like I think she's also in the back of her mind looking for a particular scent, but it's like a subconscious thing. Like she'll know it when she smells it.
I am going to at this time ask Rust. Are you going to now? By the time we reach perfume shopping, are you still following, or have you broken off doing other things, or what are we looking at here?
No, I'm going to. I need to talk to her.
Okay. Well, it's right now. The Levitt has just shooed off the perfume acrobat, who is now tumbling back into the back confines of the perfume lair, and so is currently alone. If now is a good time.
It's as good as any. Levitt?
The minute she hears your voice, she turns around and just spritzes perfume in your face. What do you think of that one?
Tastes bad.
Well, I don't think perfume is supposed to taste nice.
I suppose not.
Are you also out shopping?
I was hoping to speak with you.
We're speaking.
On a serious matter.
What can be more serious than this, Rust?
Many things. Obviously.
Speak.
The people that you are meeting with, do you know who they are?
The people that I was... Have you been following me?
Would you be upset if I was?
Perhaps. Why are you following me?
Because of the people you were with.
In order for you to know who I was with, that means you would be following me, and you have no business doing such.
I believe that I have as much business following you as a person can, given the circumstances.
What circumstances, for us? There are no more circumstances between you and I.
That's rich, coming from you.
What is that supposed to mean?
You know very well what I mean.
No, I do need you to elaborate.
The poison. You've poisoned me. I thought you'd had your revenge. I thought I'd suffered enough for your sake.
Russ, what makes you think I care enough about you to poison you? What do you mean poison?
Levitt, I'm dying.
What?
I'm dying.
Okay, I have nothing to do with that. Why would you think it was me?
Because I've wronged you.
And yes, if I was going to kill you, I'd do it to your face. I would poison you.
It seems as though you would want to punish me.
And yes, I do, and I intend to have you put up with me every day for the rest of your life. That's how I've planned to punish you. I plan on making your life hell.
Well, it seems you only have a matter of weeks, maybe months.
Do you know who could have done this?
Absolutely not. If it's not you, then who could it be?
For one, if anyone's going to kill you, it's going to be me. Because I do deserve that for what you've done to me. It's my revenge to take. And two, the wrench in my plans. One, I need your help convincing Fergus to take us somewhere. And two, no, I don't know who I'm working for. I usually don't care.
They're very dangerous people.
Usually that's who I work for.
Do you usually work for people who intend to off you once you're done the work?
A good 50-50 chance most of the time, yes.
And it seems I followed you for nothing. These people, they're a cult.
What sort of cult?
They call themselves the Ascendancy. They believe in the old noble ways. They want a restoration.
Is any of that ping anything in my mind, Jim?
What an excellent question. So there is every possibility that you have heard of this group. I think that yeah. I think that yeah, you used to very occasionally growing up. It's one of those things that you heard about from time to time, but your parents did not want to. It's one of those things your parents, I think, wanted to shelter you from hearing about. So through that kind of filter, it's like, so it's almost like this, you hear in present day human life, you occasionally hear about like the Illuminati as a thing. So it's kind of on the level of something like that, where you hear like all kinds of wild rumors about this group that may or may not exist. And you've been around long enough. You know that there are people who you have reason to think, okay, this probably exists, but no one ever wanted to talk to me about it. So it's actually surprising to you a little bit that Rust knows anything about it. I'll say that. I think, but probably. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's like it's things you would hear about from time to time, but anytime you brought it up to anybody in your family, they didn't want to talk to you about it. It was absolutely like, no, that's ridiculous. That kind of thing. And so, it has stayed largely in the realm of rumors as a thing that probably is out there, but you haven't come across yet directly.
Okay. I think I think about this and I look at Rust and I go, I don't know much about the Ascendancy. It's something that everyone knew about it, but it was never spoken about. One of those big secrets rich people knew about. Sort of like the boogeyman, but I didn't know it was real. But I'm not scared of them. I don't know why I should be. I've dealt with things far scarier than some old cult.
Did you see the weapons they carried?
I also carry weapons.
I see that I'm talking to a brick wall.
You've known that for a very long time. I've always been this way. You were going to marry me at one point.
But things used to be different. You used to at least pretend to listen.
I'm still listening.
But you're not hearing me.
A lot harder to hear someone when you have the history with them that we do.
I'm only...
Do you care, Jackson? Because it's very... Not Jackson, sorry. I saw the name Jackson and that killed my mind. Do you care, Rust? Because it's... You took away my life. Did you care then?
I can't stop caring just because of something like that. If anything, I care more.
Well, if you care so much, help me convince Fergus to get this job over and done with.
Do you truly think that's best?
Well, if I can get it done with, then I can cut it off quickly and hopefully not be murdered.
And what if you refuse to do whatever they've paid you to do?
Why would I refuse to kill someone? Never refused before.
Because you don't want to risk your life.
I'm not hearing a reason why I would refuse.
Very well, I will help you convince Fergus. Not because I believe in killing people, but for your sake.
I appreciate your assistance. Now, escort me back to the ship.
Okay.
I would like to roll my special move and
Oh.
test if my love is true.
Ah!
So, when you test if the love between you and another is true, I roll plus beyond.
Yes.
And I only have a +1 in this, so this could be horrible.
Yes.
It's an 8.
Okay.
Your love is true, but nothing in this life is simple. So I'll take +2 to my next roll, but the GM chooses 1. I'll make a note to take +2 on my next roll, by the way.
Okay.
Your love is not pure. It's tainted by strange desires or ulterior motives. Your love is not strong. It may be swallowed by regrets or anger.
Oh, boy. What a choice here. Ah. So. Okay. The way that I think I will lean on this is interesting because yeah, like you get one or the other, but not both. I think I like it better. And by I like it better, I mean, I think this will be more painful if your love is not pure. It is tainted by strange desires or ulterior motives. It is true. It is strong. It is not pure. And yeah. I think that would be a great place to end the scene, but I do want to provide a tiny piece of information that Rust, I assume you're carrying some kind of device some sort of arcane device that people use to communicate with each other.
Called a pager.
Yes, that thing, yes.
It's a Nokia. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Marcus, do you have a personal
Strange
communication
futuristic
device? No, here, take this.
Some strange futuristic thing that we couldn't
You can
possibly
play-
imagine.
You can
In this
play
day and
Snake
age.
on it.
What?
You have a message ping up on it. On it, Rust.
What does the message say?
It's a message that is asking you asking you to confirm an appointment that has been apparently made for you with Dr. Coy Shackley. You want to confirm, reschedule, or cancel, it says.
Does it have a date and time for the appointment?
Yes, they have set up they've put in a date and time, which I'm thinking, well, it depends, right? It could be later today, or it could be tomorrow, depending on how narratively we want to say this. I would like to say that the camera can't entirely see what the appointment is. It would be relatively soon, but not horrifically soon. In other words, it could be today, it could be tomorrow.
I'll confirm the appointment.
Okay. Is it today or tomorrow?
Let's make it today.
Okay. You have an appointment later today. They're open late, they don't care. Tea time is coming. But run, tea time is coming. Yes, no. Yes, it's after tea time, I will say. But not immediately after, so you will have time if you need to do anything. All right, you have confirmed your appointment, and so yes, Dr. Shackley will be expecting you. And the two of you are heading back in the direction of the ship. Was that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's happening. And I think we're going to dive off soon, but before we do that, I need to come back to Jackson for a moment, just to let him know something. That, you've been sitting there having, the tea time takes, probably not too long, terribly. Traditionally, I think it's like an hour, but we don't have to hold to that. And what is an hour on this planet? Who knows? You have tea. Is there anything in particular you want to, any objectives you want to achieve during tea time as far as like interacting with people or anything?
Mostly listening, mostly gathering information or secrets that could be useful to me later on is pretty much it.
Okay. Let me look at a thing real quick. Oh, yes. Have you rolled Inside Knowledge yet?
I have not.
If you would like, you may do that now. This is your confidant move.
Yeah, roll plus beauty.
Yeah. Okay, a 7 to 9. You learn a truth they've been trying to hide. Learn one of that person's secrets, and then we also will choose one of two. Before we you choose from the list, I would like to know, because you have a few candidates here we could go into detail about. Only one of whom has a name right now, but that's okay. We can fix that if we need to. You could learn one of Grace's secrets. Two of them have names, actually, if Adira's still here. You could learn one of Grace's secrets. You could learn one of Adira's secrets. You could learn the secret of an investor. You could learn the secret of a merchant. Or you could learn the secret of a member of the Ascendancy.
I would like to learn secrets of the Ascendancy.
Excellent. Okay. This will work out nicely. You choose two of these things.
Two of these things. I would like that people don't become suspicious of my motives, and that I don't reveal any secrets of my own.
Excellent. Okay, so this is great. Over the course of tea, let's see. You are. Wait, I haven't used this name. I will use it now. So one of the members of the Ascendancy here is Signe Norman. And, the secret you're going to learn, this truth you learn that she's been trying to hide, is not something she necessarily immediately blurts out, but you're able to kind of intuit to an extent what is going on. And that is that you think from what she says, you know, so they get to talking about organizational structure of different things, of different groups, and there is during the conversation a little bit about the Ascendancy, and it's like there, but not much. It doesn't necessarily come up, but there's this moment. Actually, yes, it doesn't. Yes, it's this is better. There's this moment when no one is looking at her except you, and there's like a little bit of in this sort of like tea, you know, this tea setting. There's a little bit of things that are kind of like what passes for court gossip type stuff going on, basically, and it's like. It's like who would be? It's like an almost joking thing that goes out where that someone says probably Grace, or someone. It's like who would be so foolish as to mix their business with pleasure so much that they start getting into affairs with their superiors, that kind of thing, you know. And it's in the context, you had to be there. It was actually quite funny, but you notice that the only person not laughing and kind of looking a little bit, is it ashamed? No, but it's more like I'm not saying a damn word right now, is Signe Norman. And from the way that she reacts kind of to a couple of things, you kind of realize, no, she's definitely having an affair with her superior. And the awesome thing about this is that you're about to find out who that is. Because as things are breaking up, and folks are kind of saying their goodbyes, I'm going to tell you now you have an opportunity if you wish not to be seen. You can get out the door and a little bit away before this happens if you want. But you're going to see more Ascendancy people arrive. 3 of them. Toward the end, you know, around the end of tea time.
I've already chosen to be not suspicious. I'll stay.
2 of them you do not know. They are wearing similarly long coats. But they are flanking one in a jacket, and this is someone whom I think you've probably met. Or you at least know who this is. This is someone you've encountered before, because this is someone who was around and very much a face of a lot of aristocrats a number of years ago, a decade or so, and who is, you note, and you're able to tell that apparently he too is Ascendancy. simply from, the way he's dressed. Again, sort of dark graying hair, glasses, but and the red and white underneath his big sort of bulky jacket. This is Wolf Grevel, someone who was trying to, an aristocrat who tried to build bridges between the aristocracy and different businesses, and someone was once friends with Levitt's father, Baxter. And from the way that Signy and the others act, the other members of the Ascendancy act when around him, from the way that Grace approaches him, somewhat demure fashion, this is the angel investor. This is the one behind what's going on here. This is the boss. And I think that is probably where we're going to end it today.
Okay.
Yeah. But although I would like, is this
all right?
Is something? Yeah. We all right? We all right? Ending there? Is there anything you need to? Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. We'll need to know more about this soon, but for the time being, we are at time. We are at time.
All right then. Yep. Cool. Nice.
Yeah, I'm sure everything will be fine. Everything will be fine.
I love when everything starts intertwining. It's great.
Well, folks, here we are once again. We've this is our third full episode, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how this is going to go, and what everyone decides to do. But thank you all very much for playing again today. We're gonna go ahead and go around and do our outros. Yeah, unfortunately, Mem did have to take off, but we wish her the absolute best, and I hope she is all right and able to return to us later on. But in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and go around, and feel free to tell folks where they can find you, and feel free to plug whatever you like, and give any final thoughts you have about this session. And we will start with Katy.
Hi, I'm Katy. You can find me all over the internet at Katyface. Yeah.
Excellent.
Also, great session. I like this game a lot. Sorry, I dropped something in my brain. Just went, ooh, focus on that.
Everything okay?
Sorry.
Oh, no worries.
Yeah, I can't wait for next session. Yeah.
Awesome. Yay! Me too. All right, me either. And we're going to go over to Robin.
Hi everyone, I'm Robin. You can find me on Twitter at r_Omulus, at Tumblr at Romulus, and I do art and drawings. And if you want me to do an art or drawing for you, I have an email you can reach me at, which is romulus.commissions@gmail.com. And you can also DM me on any social media website, and I will answer you. All right.
Yay! And we'll head over to Cleric.
Hello, I'm Cleric of Cord. You can find me on Blue Sky at Cleric of Cord, and lurking in a whole bunch of different Discord servers all over the place, mostly TTRPG servers. And just gonna drop a tease of something that might be coming this summer, so keep an eye out. Something a little different, I think. looking forward to it. And this is fun. It's the end of the world end of the universe as we know it. End of humanity.
Everything's fine. I'm sure everything will be all right.
The void's bluffing.
Humanity can walk it off.
You always do.
Yeah, tell me about it. Absolutely. And then we will head over to Hollow.
Hey, I'm Hollow Invective. You can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky at Hollow Invective. You can also find me on Channel Other Doc on Thursdays for Blades in the Dark. So you can come see me there and be the group's cutter. Very different from Jax.
This is true. Yes, I cannot wait for that. I cannot. Awesome. Excellent. Wonderful. Who am I? That's a great question. I never really know from day to day. It just sort of happens. Who knows? But for now, I'm Jim. I am Other Doc on in most of the places. Anywhere I'm not Other Doc, I'm Jim. Yes, that Jim. And my website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. Down below here on Twitch, you can access my website, social media links, YouTube channel, and various other things. As mentioned on Thursday, we are jumping into Blades in the Dark. We did finished our session 0 stuff last Thursday, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how this goes. I will be playing a leech in that. I've never played Blades before, so I'm very excited. We've built some interesting stuff for the story background, and so I'm very much interested in getting into it. And of course, on Sundays we have more of this, and I'm very grateful that it is a thing we can do. So, thank you all very much for watching. When we hit the end card, I'm going to send a raid over to somebody. There are a few different candidates, folks hanging out, that we can send a raid to. So I'll pick one of those, and we'll go say hi to them. Feel free to hang on if you are so inclined and say hi to them with us. That again will be when we hit the end card. In the meantime, folks, thank you all very much for watching. Take care, and we'll catch you next time. Farewell.